A medical emergency rescue for the Coastguard.
We've got a medical situation in Bonaccord Harbour. We've been asked to go to assist at best speed and get there as soon as we can.
Stewart Island hunters who might regret turning their hands to oyster gathering.
$250 per person taking unlawful oysters.
And divers at Cape Reinga are sprung with a haul of power.
How much you got? What's
it won't even be 200.
Auckland anniversary, and loads of yachties are out taking full advantage of the perfect weather conditions.
We're on one of the trailer boats today. We're the duty boat for Auckland, along with two of the bigger vessels. We hope for nothing too dramatic today. We don't like vessels getting into trouble on the water.
As Coastguard skipper Reg and his crew head towards Pine Harbour for a standard flat battery, an emergency call comes through and they make a quick change of direction.
What I heard on Channel 16 before, it was someone unconscious. We get closer in, get the defib, oxygen, first aid kit ready. This course is good. Yeah, that's going to take you straight between Shag Rock and Fishery Island.
We've got a medical situation in Bonaccord Harbour at Kai-moana Island. We've been asked to go to assist at best speed and get there as soon as we can to render assistance what's necessary.
Peter gets the medical kit ready, but in a packed bay they will need a clear description of the yacht.
We've reached the mouth of Bonaccord Harbour. Do you have details on the location or the bay within Bonaccord that we're to go to?
Affirmative. The vessel you are looking for is a 45-foot Juno, white with blue sail colours.
Yeah, up through the middle there, yeah.
Through here, so if we go through there.
So for anybody waving us down.
Hang on, we've got a flashing light up here from the harbour mast. There we go. Oh, there.
Quickly the yacht is located and the men are relieved to see a familiar face on board. Marty from Carwell Emergency Rescue Trust.
What have we got, Marty?
This gentleman here is pretty unwell, 72-year-old. So really need to get him off the line to get checked out.
It turns out that the man is conscious, but he's experiencing severe medical symptoms and will need to be transported to an ambulance in Sandspit.
I just felt grossly unwell. High temperature, violent shaking.
Are you going to put in
stomach pain?
Luckily for the man, Marty is an ex-paramedic and he was the first person to help.
My wife made the call, explained to Coastguard what had happened, and they decided to send their first response to have a look. And this led to this, been carted off in an ambulance.
We've just come down into Sandspit and there's a waiting ambulance up on the wall and we'll transfer and hand over the patient there.
Before they move John, Marty checks his blood pressure one last time.
Yeah, you're right.
The next task facing the Coastguard crew is getting the vessel back to Auckland from Carwell Island before dark. John's wife Margaret is still on board the yacht and will need assistance.
If it's windy in there and there's a lot of vessels, we'll put her on a barge along the side of us and we'll get her out.
With the skipper's assurance, John is led away to the ambulance.
We're heading out to assist the patient's wife with the vessel because she's the only person on board her vessel and she's going to have to get the vessel back to Auckland from Kai-moana Island. So we're going to just give her a hand to get the anchor up and get her boat back to Auckland.
It's getting late in the day and Margaret is concerned about what to do with a 45-foot yacht.
I just not happy about doing it at night on my own.
We can get you some help down that end.
We're sort of locked in now.
Oh yeah. No, what we'll do, we'll barge you out. We'll get you out here and then we'll let you get away. And then on your way down, like I say, I'll tell Coastguard that you'll call them up.
As the Coastguard help Margaret get the anchor up, she's still quite anxious about John's condition.
Well, my husband had been unwell for a couple of days, actually, with a bit of a temperature. We thought it was a virus, and I think it's an infection now. I don't know. We couldn't control the temperature. He was having rigors and, yeah, very unwell.
Yep, anchor's up, anchor's up. You're okay that side? All good. We're just barging the vessel out through the myriad of vessels in Mansion House Bay.
As the yacht gets barged out into the harbour, Margaret receives good news. John is recovering well.
Getting in touch with Coastguard. That's them ringing now, so we can arrange details for you for tonight. Okay, let them know what's happening. And once we've got that sorted, we'll unhitch and we'll see you on your merry way.
With the constant concern all over the world about diminishing fish stocks, stringent guidelines have been put in place around the New Zealand coastline to prevent local sources from being fished out.
For 6 months of the year through the summer period, being 1 October through to 31st March, most of the Waitemata Harbour is closed for all types of commercial fishing.
Jason from Auckland M-Fish is on his way to Maraetai Beach on the Waitemata Harbour. He's heard via the grapevine about commercial fishermen who have been fishing in a closed-off area.
Guy we're looking at today, he's fishing inside the closed area, which is a big no-no, and he's declaring that he's targeting snapper and spotted dogfish, which are more commonly known as your fish and chip shark.
Unbeknown to the reckless commercial fisherman, Jason and his team have been monitoring his actions for the last 48 hours, and now they're ready to pounce.
Yeah, copy, Alan, I'm moving up. He's just coming away from the ramp now. Can't get out from here. Yeah, you can come down, Alan, I've got him blocked here. Jason with the Ministry of Fisheries? Yeah. Let's have a check of your books and that, permit, just routine inspection.
I had a look at the permit 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay, who was that?
Oh, I don't know.
How's the fishing? Yeah.
Initially, the man claims that he's caught jellyfish and procrastinates by bumbling along with his paperwork.
He's just checking to see what his catch is, and then he declares what his catch is and his returns.
From their surveillance, Jason is well aware that there should be a good stash of fish in the bin. The fisherman counts out 9 spotted dogfish, and Jason is able to get a look at what else he's caught today.
So we got some spotted dogs in there, a few snapper.
None of these in any way resemble the jellyfish this fisherman first claimed he'd caught. In fact, there wasn't even a single jellyfish. As a commercial fisherman, he'll be subject to different rules than recreational fishermen, so he could have landed himself in a bit of hot water.
It's not like the recreational can go out and catch his 9 snapper every day. With the commercial, there's just a set limit of quota, and if they catch it all within the first 2 months, they can't go fishing for 10.
So I want to ask you some questions about where you've been setting your gear and that, okay? So I wish to speak to you about where your gear has been set.
After a lengthy questioning session, Jason determines that the fisherman is not over his quota.
Just let me finish, please, over the last month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although Jason does have some other concerns.
What I'm talking to you about is where you've set your gear, how you've set your gear.
This commercial fisherman has been breaking the law by fishing within an area subject to a seasonal closure with net restrictions. The regulation is a sustainability measure set to protect juvenile snapper stocks.
Not so much what you've been, how much you've been catching, it's where you've been catching it and how you've been catching it.
The fisherman is a little vague about his knowledge of the law.
Sounds a bit odd to me.
But he has broken the rules and committed a serious offence.
Do you wish to have a lawyer present?
Well, I don't know what's going on.
I want to talk to you, like I said, about where you've been fishing for the last month, what you've been targeting and what you've been catching. I've formally cautioned you. You have the right to have a lawyer present while I'm asking you these questions.
Ah. Oh, I'll have to think about it, won't I?
After lengthy proceedings, the fisherman was prosecuted and convicted of setting his nets in an illegal manner in an area that has seasonal netting restrictions in place and fined $4,000, and his boat and fishing equipment were forfeited to the Crown. Every summer, the Navy and Fisheries combine forces to target Stewart Island, 30 kilometres southwest of Bluff. The island's population of 390 swells during the hunting season.
We're going to go around Stewart Island, and with the size of this vessel resolution and the way the weather forecast is, we're going to have the opportunity of doing the north side of Stewart Island, the west coast, and then work our way back up the east coast, where we know there's a number of contacts in relation to both hunting, fishing and diving. Some charter boats operating down there, dropping people off and taking them home. There'll be some commercial crayfish vessels, along with some blue cod vessels.
The plan today is to board both boats and go on shore to ensure everyone is complying with the quota.
This is an area that we wouldn't normally get into on a really regular basis, so it's an ideal opportunity for both Ministry of Fisheries, Department of Conservation to have a look.
The first boat spotted is a commercial power boat.
There's some good big puppies here. If I took my gauge out to measure, you'll find these are well in excess. 125 millimetres is to that mark there, and we're well in excess of that, so that's a good size power. These guys are actually fishing to an upper size limit. Recreational fishermen have to fish to 125 millimetres. The commercial industry has set their own size limits to conserve stocks, so they're leaving behind power that recreationalists could still gather. So
the next boat they search is a private charter.
It's a commercial fishing boat as well. Normally dives for power and there's also a lobster vessel. But this time of year it's probably doing a charter trip down the island with hunters on board. Ministry of Fisheries, do you mind if we come on board? Okay.
Mind if we carry on watching the cricket?
Yep, okay.
As the fisheries officers search the boat, everything appears to be in ship shape.
I'd say, what, half a dozen crays of that actually, as he was?
Free diving, eh?
One was 8 pound.
Looking at the size of the crays, these men have every reason to be smiling, and having caught 6, they're right on the daily quota. The officers decide to move inland to check some dock huts.
There's obviously a party here was going to go ashore, they've got a rubber inflatable. We'll make the assumption there might have been a bit of fishing going on, so just going to make sure that they're all in compliance. Can I ask how long you've been here?
About an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half? Oh, you just set up. All right.
You guys out hunting?
Yeah.
And we've got 3 guys gone around and dinghy around the corner.
Oh, okay, that's fine. No. We'll have a quick look at your setup and then...
With 10 guys in the hunting party, the officers have no idea what they might find.
See, this one here, guys, just you're taking oysters, you've got an undersized oyster here. So it's meant to go back in the water.
Oh, okay.
So any oyster adhering to another one that's small, it rules that out as being unlawful. The idea is a minimum size, 58 millimetres. Now, if you haven't got a ring, the best thing to do is try and measure the fish. The way it's designed, it's not the greatest length of the shell, it's about the circumference of it going through the thing. So there's another one here, another one attached to it. It's an undersize, that's 3 out. You've got to pay closer attention, guys.
Oh, okay.
These hunters obviously don't have a clue about the size limit of oysters. Perhaps they need an incentive.
Okay. So it's $250 per person taking unlawful oysters, so yeah. You're gonna guarantee you're gonna do that, right? Yeah, okay. Right.
Steve confiscates the oysters to put them back in the sea.
Where'd you get those ones from? Have you collected them? The other guys got them for you?
No, the other fellas did, yeah.
Right, drop them off.
Just drop them off. Friends we know.
The man claims that another hunting group gave him the oysters, so the officers set off in search of a second party.
This is in Port Adventure. We've got a fishing hut here, dock hut, and we've got a party ashore, so we're just going to go and have a look and inspect them. We know they've been gathering oysters because they've given some to the other party over there, so we're just going to have a talk to them about making sure they're in compliance with minimum size. Got the billy boiling?
We haven't been here long enough.
That's right, have you? Okay.
Yeah, the oysters down there in the crate.
Oh, okay, good stuff. You know how many you got? You ain't counted them?
No.
Okay. Well, there is a limit. You know what the daily limit is for oysters?
50 per person for 3 days.
Yes, but it's limited to the persons in the boat at the time taking the oysters. So
yeah, we're all in the charter boat when we come in.
So you all got out and got the oysters, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you dropped any other oysters off anywhere else?
No.
You haven't had any interaction with the group over at Kelly's?
Yeah, we said hello to them this morning. They're from the same outfit.
Oh, okay.
Same hometown.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did anyone give them a feed of oysters?
The men appear to have temporary memory loss.
Anyone gathering those oysters, and you said you're all together, is going to get $250 infringements. So,
each?
Yes, but we'll have a look at your oysters down here and we'll just check to make sure that they're all squared away. Do you think that we're going to find good size oysters? You're hoping?
Well, it's probably a bit of a mixture there.
Okay.
This could quickly become a very costly hunting expedition.
It's clearly undersized.
Officers have a closer inspection. Maybe these hunters should stick to hunting, not gathering.
So in that box, just to square away again, Fred, we've got
320 in here.
320. So we need to take 20 out. Right. Now you agree, guys, that if we go through these, they're a good many of them are undersized.
I mean, there's some legal on there, but you've actually exceeded your quota.
The men seem relaxed, but they have also exceeded the quota of 50 oysters per person.
So it's 350 legal-size oysters.
The final tally doesn't add up to good news.
137 US. Undersized.
Plus the 3 undersized oysters they gave the other group, that's a total of 140 undersized oysters, costing this group a $250 fine each. Cape Reinga at the northern tip of New Zealand, a popular spot for tourists and fishermen. And today, Northland Fishery Officers have decided to run a routine patrol.
We quite often, or the guys up here, get the phone calls of people diving for power down off the Cape.
In just a few minutes, Marcy spots 4 divers in the bay at the bottom of the hill.
You beauty, divers. With sacks. Might just be kinna, but they wouldn't go that far for kinna. There's one guy in a rock pool, I suppose, because it's quite rough down there. One standing on the edge in his wetsuit, and they got a white sack on the rocks. Another guy has just run in behind the rocks. They could be taking power, or kinna, but I don't think they'd go to that much trouble to get down these cliffs to just get kinna. But I could be wrong.
But Marcy knows it's unlikely she's wrong, as it's a 2-hour trek down the cliff. Not worth it for kinna or the legal catch limit of 10 power per person.
Just goes to show people will go out in any sort of conditions. And down there is quite dangerous.
Despite the dangerous conditions, the divers are still filling their bags when backup arrives.
Have you got your binoculars?
No, mine. But
there's 4 of them, and there's a big pack just down here, quite a way away from them.
You actually see them in the water?
Yep, I've seen one of them in the water. The guy with the yellow stripe down the side has been standing on the edge the whole time, getting them from the guy that was in the water. Yeah.
Facing a choice between climbing down the cliff and waiting for the guys at the top, the officers decide to wait.
I think there's 2 tracks that they can take. They can either take the far one up over the ridge that'll take them directly to the car park, or this one just down below us here. So either way, if they go up the far one, we'll just meet them back at their car, or if they come up this one, then we'll just wait here for them to come to us, because Steve doesn't fancy walking all the way down there.
As the officers wait, a curious crowd of tourists gathers.
Little do they know, they've got a whole audience. The 4 guys that we've been keeping an eye on have just started putting their backpacks on. A couple of them put their backpacks on, they're sort of putting their jerseys on. And I'd say they're just preparing for the hike back up here to meet us, which they may not be so happy about, depending on what they've been gathering.
It's a good hour plus before 3 of the divers finally reach the top of the hill.
How are yous?
While the 4th tries to hide in the bushes below.
How much you got? What's
it? Wouldn't even be 200.
You guys been diving down there? Yeah. What have you got?
Just piles and kinners.
Piles and kinners? Did you, who gathered the power?
Just us, then me, him, then my father.
All 4 of you got in the water?
Yeah. We've got a permit.
Oh, yeah.
A little way down the hill, the father of the group is holding 2 customary permits to gather power. Customary permits are issued by a local kaitiaki to authorise customary harvest for a hui or tangi. The issue with this man's permits is they've clearly been altered a number of times.
Why are the dates all changed, do you know?
Oh, no, well,
what do you know about that?
Because his book was full. You reckon his book was full, but these ones here, someone had already ordered it, or some of them think. They just think it all up.
Yeah. Okay, look, I'll just write some details down off here, eh?
Yeah, right. No, that's all good.
And we'll sort it out, eh?
You wouldn't have your motorbike down here, would you?
No, mate. Walk up.
The permits don't feel quite right to Steve, so Ricky contacts comms to check it out.
Yeah, Roger.
Can you just get the details on that permit though?
What's the story?
They've produced 2 permits for 2 separate birthday parties, one next month and one in August. The dates...
August when?
This year. The dates are on the permit and some of the details have been twinked out and then rewritten, which is some concern to me. However, he assures me that the permit issuer had run out of books and he used an old one that had been cancelled, and that if there was any problems that we should give him a ring. I'm not saying he's been dishonest at this stage, but it just seems a bit odd that there are alterations.
Size measurement or anything there?
Regardless of the status of the permits, the catch has to be examined, although the diver isn't so keen.
Well, we'll just have a quick look anyway. Okay? No, because if you don't, you see, the thing is, if you don't let me have a look, you'll be obstructing me. I'm entitled to have a look anyway because you've got shelter. And you don't want to obstruct.
I just didn't want to show everybody else to.
Oh, well, it's okay. Well, we'll
just take it around the side.
We'll just take it around there a bit then, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Whereabouts do you want to do it?
I know where there. Just
That's heavy, yeah?
All the power measured up okay, and the total of 183 was within the limits of the permits. So when confirmation came through that the permits were legitimate, the guys were free to go on their way. The kaitiaki that issued the permits was sent a new permit book. While these men checked out okay, false permits and power poaching is an ongoing battle for MFish. Poaching wipes out fish stocks and hinders the $50 million power industry, so MFish follow up on any suspect activity to protect this valued resource.